Here are the sentences you provided. 1. I deposited money into my account at the bank. 2. The opinions of the majority and the minority clashed. 3. He can't save money because he is a spendthrift. 4. My hair is sparse, so I think I'll soon be bald. 5. Children rely completely on their parents. 6. The fruit of this tree is edible, so feel free to eat it. 7. She started to make sarcastic comments about my painting. 8. The crime is condemned, but the criminal says not to condemn him. 9. He used subterfuge to pass the exam but got caught. 10. There was an obvious piece of evidence that he was the criminal. 11. He bribed the politician and won the construction project through bribe. 12. During the priest's sermon, the murderer felt pangs of conscience. 13. I learned differentiation and integration in mathematics class. 14. He carries his English dictionary like an ornament. 15. They required a warrant when introducing the new machine. 16. We set the chair upright that had fallen over in the wind. 17. Hedgehogs and squirrels are a type of rodent. 18. Winning the Olympic gold medal was truly an honored achievement. 19. A senator from the Republican Party was nominated as the presidential candidate. 20. Preheat the oven before baking the cookies. Let me know if you'd like further clarification or discussion on any of them. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. Curly hair tends to tangle with each other. 2. The light bulb suddenly flickered, so I replaced it myself. 3. The suspects obstructed the investigation by destroying evidence. 4. Turn the key anti-clockwise to open it. 5. The hospital was filled with people diseased from the flu. 6. The car starts to depreciate immediately after I buy it. 7. The doctor diagnosed the hospitalized emergency patient. 8. The pirates were rowing the boat with a paddle. 9. Korea will become a hub for global finance and communications. 10. The martyr showed fortitude until the end. 11. The ballerina danced with grace. 12. This restaurant keeps the kitchen in a sanitary condition. 13. The soldier's funeral was conducted in a solemn atmosphere. 14. The dentist performed a quick extraction of the cavity. 15. His success story was a stimulation for me. 16. A middle school student is not a child, but rather juvenile. 17. The opposing player claimed that the referee was unfair. 18. Suddenly, there was an offensive smell in the restaurant. 19. The cars coming out these days are equipped with cutting-edge technology. 20. Rain, snow, and hail are all included in precipitation. Let me know if you'd like to discuss or clarify any of these. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. King Louis XIV called together all the nobility. 2. She deplored the death of her close friend. 3. The geologist believed in the continental drift theory. 4. It is said that there are over 1 trillion stars in the sky. 5. Carnegie's business philosophy involves interpersonal skills. 6. A malcontent continues to complain even when treated well. 7. He cut his finger on a broken fragment of glass. 8. He eventually reached the apex of Mount Everest. 9. North Korea must renounce its nuclear weapons development. 10. She felt amusement at my lighthearted joke. 11. The police succeeded in apprehending the criminal. 12. He gave up his seat to an elderly gentleman on the bus. 13. If you scribble your name, it will be hard for others to read it. 14. The puppy drooled when it smelled something delicious. 15. She asserted that she never committed the theft. 16. Due to road construction, we went on a detour. 17. The film critic exalted the movie highly. 18. The janitors buried the huge trash in the landfill. 19. He denied being implicated in the crime. 20. I invoke God's blessing on your efforts. Let me know if you'd like any further discussion or clarification. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. The greatest enemies of studying are difficulty and dullness. 2. I glimpsed an old friend while driving. 3. The reporter was tenacious in searching for an exclusive story. 4. I worked as an intern at the district office during the vacation. 5. His persistent requests always vex me. 6. She fights with her prodigal husband, who spends excessively on alcohol every day. 7. Granted, studying is not a fun task, but it must be done. 8. The Archbishop warned of the decadent society's downfall. 9. The Emperor has dominion over the castles. 10. The chemist condensed the steam into water in the laboratory. 11. The precondition for promotion is foreign language proficiency. 12. Rude behavior causes antipathy among friends. 13. The theory of essentially good human nature is called the theory of innate goodness. 14. The soldiers were severely injured in the bomb blast. 15. The scientist demonstrated the new theory through an experiment. 16. The passengers gathered toward the fore of the train to avoid the zombies. 17. I drove a wedge into the crack in the stone and split it into pieces. 18. The parliament passed the law with unanimity. 19. The rattlesnake slithered quietly toward its prey. 20. I felt a sense of alienation from my friend. Let me know if you'd like to discuss or clarify any of these. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. The audience was moved by his passionate speech. 2. The Rolling Stone gained momentum and rolled faster. 3. Delivery fees and sales are negligible amounts of money. 4. A sneaky scammer used a clever trick to deceive others. 5. She is a celebrity with natural allure. 6. A typical complication of diabetes is blindness. 7. She resented the harsh criticism from the critic. 8. My ideal type is an amiable and good-looking man. 9. This snake is harmless because it has no venom. 10. This winter is extremely cold due to the chilly air. 11. His rude comments rekindled her anger. 12. I often visit this restaurant because the prices are reasonable. 13. He invested his money in estate rather than stocks. 14. The road has only one lane, so the traffic is chronically heavy. 15. Bronze is a metal alloy made from copper and tin. Sing. The crowd demanded that the murderer be executed. 17. I found a book that is both fun and instructive. 18. He ate grilled shrimp and squid as snacks. 19. The scientist continued his quest for new knowledge. 20. The family bemoaned his sudden death. Feel free to ask if you'd like to explore any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. She enrolled in unemployment training for employment. 2. Paint dissolves well in solvents like gasoline. 3. The philosopher has a sharp insight into human nature. 4. The boss had a meeting with the personnel regarding the salary increase. 5. The priest and the nun are conducting a service in the church. 6. I planted trees to prevent desertification. 7. They are twins, but they have no resemblance at all. 8. The distributor ordered snacks from the manufacturer. 9. Philosophy is the study of the human mind. 10. The current president has governed the country democratically. 11. The politician expressed his stance on government policy. 12. The fortune teller prophesied my fate. 13. My colleague is the best worker at the company. 14. His achievements exceeded our expectations. 15. The writer knows how to punctuate with periods and commas. 16. The children caught crayfish and fish in the brook in the forest. 17. I reproached him for his laziness and lack of sincerity. 18. The Hulk is a mighty giant who can throw cars. 19. The disaster committee organized the emergency rescue team. 20. The meeting of two people at the party that day was fateful. Let me know if you'd like to explore any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. The Chief of Staff of the Army is the Supreme Commander of the Army. 2. Before swimming, you should flex your arms and legs thoroughly. 3. We mistrusted each other due to the theft incident. 4. The economic growth rate is similar to the government's early projection. 5. The middle school students took a comprehension test in English class. 6. To preserve freshness, the milk was refrigerated. 7. The prosperity of a nation depends on its economy and politics. 8. The librarian at the library lent me a book. 9. Please call at your convenience. 10. We preserve cultural heritage for posterity. 11. The prisoner entreated the enemy to release him. 12. I felt skepticism about this military operation. 13. His plan has both merits and demerits. 14. The advantage of this shopping mall is the prompt delivery of goods. 15. Helen had issues with both visual and auditory perception. 16. After the baby fell, he was whining because he was in pain. 17. Hypertension patients should be cautious about their sodium intake. 18. Cinderella was treated like an eyesore by her stepmother. 19. This job requires both mental and physical effort. 20. The value of peace is understood after experiencing the severity of war. Let me know if you'd like to discuss or clarify any of these. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. The pilgrim will visit the shrine in Jerusalem. 2. He suffered after getting plastic surgery from a charlatan doctor. 3. She showed an affirmative response to my proposal. 4. I hope that Korea's economy will flourish due to oil discoveries. 5. A crater formed at the peak of the mountain after the volcanic eruption. 6. She sifted through the dirt for the lost ring. 7. The hill is covered with dense vegetation. 8. The relief organization gave blankets to the piteous refugees. 9. She barely recollected my name. 10. The unrest in politics leads to unrest in the economy. 11. He achieved the accumulation of wealth through the success of his business. 12. The only thing that can fill the void in the heart is love. 13. A just society must guarantee equality of opportunity. 14. He grimaced at the unpleasant and disgusting smell. 15. She acts more mature than her age suggests. 16. A long-term recession caused mass unemployment. 17. The post office stamps a postmark on each letter. 18. I made a stamp from a tree struck by a thunderbolt. 19. Someone tried to commit suicide on the railing of the Han River Bridge. 20. In the past, the idea that the Earth revolved was a radical concept. Let me know if you'd like to explore or clarify any of these. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. The people fought against tyranny and won their freedom. 2. We need a new strategy to repel the enemy. 3. He hit a home run as the designated hitter. 4. The employer pays the monthly salary to the employee. 5. Smoking is only allowed in the designated compartment. 6. The police succeeded in verifying the criminal's name. 7. The fatalities from this terror attack exceed 50 people. 8. The famous singer sang in the midst of the crowd. 9. It costs a huge amount for the transit of oil by ship. 10. The martyr believes that his death was part of providence. 11. The soldier swore implicit loyalty to the nation. 12. His unfounded assertion was completely ignored. 13. The police are under scrutiny regarding the accident. 14. The witness heard the screech of the car's brakes. 15. I was impatient with the slow bus due to my urgent errand. 16. This hiking trail next to the cliff is very perilous. 17. I gave food to the pathetic child who was starving. 18. The chemical solutions were unstable, so they were handled with care. 19. The audience was completely captivated by her salsa dance. 20. I didn't know whether to move the car, so I left the car key at the lodge. Let me know if you'd like to discuss any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. His dyed red hair was noticeable. 2. It is said that a ghost haunts the ruined castle. 3. The sound of the keyboard in the library is irritating. 4. When I travel, I buy local specialties at the souvenir shop. 5. The guard took the criminal's frontal and lateral pictures. 6. I overslept today. Consequently, I was late for school. 7. Due to the typhoon, an evacuation order was given to the residents. 8. Firefighters make clothes from resistant materials for fire protection. 9. I used all kinds of rhetoric to flatter her. 10. She was concerned about her husband's habitual drinking. 11. Car exhaust gases pollute the air. 12. The construction company leveled the uneven, unpaved road. 13. The package was delivered exactly to the recipient. 14. I observed the movement of microbial organisms under the microscope. 15. While I was studying, my younger brother kept interrupting me. 16. I inquired about the apartment prices from the agent. 17. Kinetic energy undergoes some dissipation as heat. 18. She stores fresh fruits and milk in the fridge. 19. Dragons originally have an attribution to fire. 20. The whole family kept vigil at the father's deathbed. Let me know if you'd like to go over any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. The general bravely stood on the vanguard and fought the enemy. 2. His plan is still abstract, not concrete. 3. The spy secretly stole confidential documents from the embassy. 4. She gained an immovable confidence after winning. 5. A territorial dispute arose between China and Japan. 6. The wisdom acquired through experience is important. 7. The criminal pleaded for mercy from the judge. 8. Superman was born with supernatural strength. 9. She uses a rose-scented fragrance shampoo. 10. I sprayed insecticide in the room to exterminate pests. 11. The tank boasts excellent firepower and mobility. 12. In old age, people long for their childhood. 13. My wife suffered from morning sickness during her pregnancy. 14. An estuary is a wide area where a river meets the sea. 15. The beggar devoured the food left by others. 16. A beauty salon and a store are among the basic amenities. 17. During the rainy season, the weather is erratic, so I carry an umbrella. 18. Prehistory is history without recorded information. 19. This vacuum cleaner sucks up dust particles well. 20. The key factor in his success is his persistent effort. Let me know if you'd like to explore any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. We were very hospitable to even strangers. 2. High buildings have been constructed on the periphery of the amusement park. 3. His theory started from a wrong premise. 4. The prosecution investigated the government's bureaucrat for corruption. 5. Her perfume had an obnoxious smell that made me cover my nose. 6. The baseball player swiped the ball with his bat. 7. It is said that dinosaurs became extinct due to a collision with an asteroid. 8. He is very satisfied with his profession as a doctor. 9. The sailors escaped the shipwreck on time by using the lifeboats. 10. Reason and emotion differentiate humans from beasts. 11. What he stole is so bad that it is not defensible. 12. The refugees had to endure the winter rigor without a home. 13. Religion tends to forbid pregnant women from aborting. 14. Excessive dieting can lead to malnutrition. 15. The Parliament ratified the Free Trade Agreement with the United States. 16. Unwary Minsu fell into a puddle while walking down the street. 17. A cluster of spectators gathered around him. 18. In my opinion, his theory of cosmic creation lacks logic. 19. The eagle snatched the squirrel with its strong claws. 20. Mother's breast milk provides nourishment for the baby. Let me know if you'd like to go over any of these in more detail. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. The politician lived in misery in a foreign country. 2. I published a big book as a format for the elderly. 3. He went bankrupt after being deceived by fraudulent information in the stock market. 4. An adverb is a modifier that describes adjectives and verbs. 5. Arthur was appointed as an absolute monarch by the nobility. 6. Bill Gates spontaneously donated all of his wealth. 7. Everyone commended him for his donation. 8. The old man enlarged small text with his magnifying glass. 9. Prior approval is required to enter the party. 10. He lost his passport and found himself in a plight at the airport. 11. Over the years, the cathedral was eroded by wind and rain. 12. He said hopelessly that there was no hope left. 13. She is responsible for the household economy. 14. Dad and mom worked hard for the family's bliss. 15. I went to a meeting instead of enjoying living solitude. 16. Social media is often used to quickly diffuse rumors. 17. The revolt in the streets was soon suppressed by the army. 18. She boasts about her marathon victory. 19. I was terribly sorry for causing the inconvenience. 20. The rock climber secured a foothold on the cliff. Let me know if you'd like to discuss or clarify any of these. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. The huge passenger ship cruised along the coastline. 2. He took a judicious approach to his new business. 3. The Pope ordained him as the next cardinal. 4. The Parliament legislated a law banning drunk driving. 5. He has the competence of a leader. 6. This watch is famous for being remarkably accurate. 7. He accumulated his wealth through real estate investments. 8. Their opinions became convergent after the discussion. 9. I provided simple refreshments for the guests. 10. A periodic inspection is conducted for the water purifier. 11. He was a nominal emperor with no real power. 12. Fireflies are luminescent creatures at night. 13. The Duke of Kent and the Duchess came to meet the King and Queen. 14. Objects come to a stop due to friction between them. 15. We have prejudices against black people. 16. The local government oversaw the presidential election fairly. 17. The library was noiseless with students studying. 18. The graduation certificate is issued through a straightforward procedure. 19. His self-righteous behavior alienated his followers. 20. The veterinarian has an affinity for pets. Let me know if you want to go over any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. A foreigner worked at the factory as an industry trainee. 2. This academy is registered as an institution of education. 3. She prepared the contract documents in triplicate. 4. Last night's heavy snow intensified the traffic congestion. 5. Along with the eruption of the volcano, lava shot up into the sky. 6. The new students' assimilation into our group was quick. 7. We held a reception for the new members. 8. The squad leader ordered the sergeant to cease fire. 9. He used his stuttering shortcoming as a strength. 10. The psychologist studied the criminal's behavior mode. 11. He is an artist who specializes in drawing the portraits of businessmen. 12. We found survivors in the collapsed brick stack. 13. When the dog saw its owner, it wagged its tail forth and back. 14. The pine tree grew in the interstice between the rocks. 15. The prosecutor presented cogent evidence in court. 16. His passionate speech mollified the angry crowd. 17. She filled the basin with water to wash her hair. 18. He submitted his resignation letter to the HR department. 19. I reviewed and revised the draft of the contract. 20. The life of luxury and luxurious goods corrupts young people. Let me know if you'd like to explore any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. The terrorist attacked the mainland of the United States with a suicide attack. 2. The singer is called the forerunner of modern pop music. 3. She has a phobia of high places. 4. The aviation industry also includes airplane manufacturing. 5. The thug threatened the citizens with an intimidating attitude. 6. I took painkillers for my unbearable headache. 7. The patient in the emergency room suddenly became unconscious. 8. He learned martial arts like kung fu at the dojo. 9. She gave a presentation of the new product to the customers. 10. He whispered something in her ear in a small voice, saying murmur. 11. His diligence is always consistent in consistency. 12. The effectiveness of the drug is told by those who have used it. 13. His stock investment eventually led to bankruptcy, culminating in failure. 14. The enemy encroached on the adjacent territory without permission. 15. He wore a neck brace after injuring his neck in a car accident. 16. I expressed my condolences to the family at the funeral. 17. Insects are observed under a microscope with magnification. 18. The fire truck arrived at the scene of the fire promptly within 5 minutes. 19. The prosecution identified the suspect's whereabouts through CCTV. 20. The chef made well-being food with wholesome ingredients. Let me know if you'd like to discuss any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. This wildfire was a natural combustion caused by the wind. 2. Solidification is the process by which a liquid turns into a solid. 3. We have an ideological identity that stems from capitalism. 4. The singer donated all the proceeds from this performance. 5. I couldn't save money because I was wasteful with my clothes. 6. Cells receive nutrients through the membrane. 7. You should not fall into the temptation of smoking and gambling. 8. The two countries at war finally signed a truce. 9. He complained about being treated unfairly at work. 10. That couple was destined to break up from the beginning. 11. The villagers flung stones at the terrifying monster. 12. Bees need to pollinate the apple blossoms for the fruit to grow. 13. He outdid his opponent in boxing with strength and skill. 14. He felt ecstasy from the majestic view of Mount Baekdu. 15. The driver used an alternate system to operate the vehicle. 16. Throwing a stone into the calm lake caused a ripple. 17. His books were favorably reviewed by the readers. 18. My son received the measles vaccine at the pediatrician. 19. I worked hard to escape poverty and became wealthy. 20. He derives pleasure and knowledge from reading. Let me know if you'd like to go over or discuss any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. He installed an alarm to alert for intrusion. 2. He is kind, but he becomes very stern when it comes to mistakes. 3. The construction worker flattened the road with a bulldozer. 4. The azalea flower poetry encapsulates the pain of separation. 5. She spoke in the National Assembly as a delegate of the opposition party. 6. The Youth Training Center expanded facilities like the basketball court. 7. My parents registered my birth at the community center. 8. Ducks have flippers on their feet, making it easy to swim. 9. The architect built the tallest building in Seoul. 10. I met a fascinating woman at the graduation party. 11. The soccer ball sadly hit the goalpost and rebounded. 12. Romeo and Juliet ended with a catastrophic conclusion. 13. I received a preliminary estimate for the remodeling. 14. She is a distinguished scholar in the field of archaeology. 15. The potter hardened the pottery several times with heat and wind. 16. The fundamental problem of delinquent teenagers is the lack of affection. 17. This herb has an amazing efficacy for insomnia. 18. The illusionist performed magic in front of the audience. 19. The instructor handed out an overview of today's lecture in advance. 20. The religious person sincerely adores Buddha and Jesus. Let me know if you'd like to explore any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. My attic is small, but it gets sunlight and is airy. 2. He confessed to the theft charge with evident proof. 3. She has a diffident and introverted personality. 4. I inflated many balloons for the party. 5. The civic group advocated for the preservation of historic buildings. 6. The scholar was banished to the countryside for his mistake. 7. He always grunts that he has too much work to do. 8. If he were sane, he wouldn't have lied to me. 9. After saying goodbye, she went in the opposite direction without a word. 10. The prisoner exchange operation was virtually impossible, they said. 11. She had an aversion to keeping snakes at home. 12. He was born into a humble family and succeeded with dignity. 13. A 50% discount was applicable only for clearance items. 14. The Apollo spacecraft embodied the dream of space exploration. 15. The athlete overcame pain with his willpower. 16. I ordered the necessary furnishing for the office online. 17. My boss praised my drastic drive to move forward. 18. The criminal could not escape the observant eyes of the police. 19. He planted a monumental tree in the garden of the Blue House. 20. Our company restricts the use of disposable cups. Let me know if you'd like to discuss or clarify any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. He felt deep remorse for his mistake. 2. I reduced production costs to maximize profits. 3. He is busy with preparation for the final exam. 4. The landlord retrieved the stolen Goryo Celadon. 5. He is experiencing financial difficulties due to his business failure. 6. Seeing the ghost, she felt like she was literally out of breath. 7. The curry chips had a savor similar to real curry. 8. Personal activities are prohibited during the new employee training session. 9. I am ashamed of my folly in trying to deceive my friend. 10. The actors began acting at the director's cue. 11. After graduation from college, I went to graduate school. 12. Her face shape is closer to an ellipse than a circle. 13. The revolting smell made everyone cover their noses with their hands. 14. The soldier tugged at the reins to stop the tank. 15. I took supplements to restore my physical strength. 16. His argument has coherence from beginning to end. 17. Her gestures are full of vitality and passion. 18. He must have exhausted his energy as he collapsed after the soccer game. 19. We guess the meaning of new words through context. 20. The air is thin at the mountain summit, making it hard to respire. Feel free to ask if you'd like to go over or discuss any of these. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. The family of soccer player Cha Bum-kun has excellent athletic abilities. 2. The lawyer knows the loopholes in the law and exploits them well. 3. Samsung provided a warranty that vouched for the product quality. 4. Our country's archers have exceptional talent in archery. 5. The local thug was almost the incarnate of a demon. 6. We measured the velocity of the KX train. 7. The saying, go around when in a hurry, is a famous paradox. 8. The sudden super strong tornado overturned the bus. 9. I'm awfully sorry for interrupting your precious time. 10. The cardinal granted absolution for his theft. 11. The weightlifter easily heaved the barbell and dumbbells. 12. He posted the promotion notice on the company bulletin board with a tack. 13. The unmanned spacecraft flew into space. The museum worked hard on the restoration of the damaged artifacts. 15. The new drug caused a pernicious side effect of stomach ulcers. 16. BC refers to the history antecedent to the birth of Jesus. 17. I often misplace my glasses and lose them. 18. We need to strengthen national defense against invasion. 19. She was elected as the first female president, inaugurated into office. 20. He is a dull young man, completely devoid of humor. Let me know if you'd like to discuss or clarify any of these. Sure. Here's my reading of the sentences. 1. The sculptor sculpted a mermaid from marble. 2. He wasn't fooled by the cliché of shouting fire. 3. Materialism leads adolescents to become degenerate. 4. The wallpaperer applied paste evenly on the wallpaper. 5. Sending a gift, definitely. He likes her. 6. Mold proliferates quickly in a humid environment. 7. The police believe the two murders were related. 8. Her innermost feeling toward him is love. 9. The military disbanded the demonstration by force. 10. I devised a way to involve her in the plan. 11. She is meticulous and has a tendency to pursue perfection. 12. It is still unknown who will achieve the ultimate victory in this match. 13. He, being severely obese, underwent surgery to subdue his appetite. 14. No one can succeed without toil in both work and study. 15. She regretted her impulsive decision at that time. 16. The detective disguised himself with fake glasses and a mustache. 17. To uproot bad habits, you really need determination. 18. The song volunteer group visited the nursing home of the elderly. 19. My proposal passed with unanimous consent from the members. 20. A magnitude 8 earthquake just occurred in Japan. If you'd like to discuss or clarify any of them, feel free to ask. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. He implored the victim for forgiveness. 2. Middle school students collectively went on a field trip to Gyeongju. 3. I read the introductory passage as soon as I bought the novel. 4. Jupiter is the planet between Mars and Saturn. 5. The coach gave the players words of encouragement. 6. The refugees were slightly subsidized by the government. 7. I had no intention to disturb you while you were studying. 8. He is a prescient person who predicted the nation's downfall. 9. Hyundai Motors' component industry has been flourishing. 10. The baby lamb walked lame after falling from the cliff. 11. The cars whizzed frighteningly on the highway. 12. The wealthy people lived a lavish lifestyle in their luxurious homes. 13. Further arguments will only amplify misunderstandings. 14. Emperor Qin Shi Huang sought medicine for everlasting life. 15. Poor posture causes deformation of the spine. 16. The Snow White prince wanted to see Snow White singularly. 17. I bought used items for cost reduction. 18. He humiliated his friend in front of others. 19. The unconscious patient was fortunately conscious again. 20. He won the game with various maneuvers. Let me know if you'd like to discuss or analyze any of them. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. The cars were substantially damaged in the head-on collision. 2. The results of the experiment ended up negating his theory. 3. I immersed the white cloth in a bucket filled with yellow dye. 4. Hansel escaped to avoid the witch's mistreatment. 5. He was acquitted in the Supreme Court for the murder charge. 6. The company introduced robots to improve productivity. 7. The referee made a disinterested decision. 8. I had an objection to him becoming the chairman due to his insincerity. Number 9. The immigrants reclaimed the wasteland for farming. 10. She was so oblivious to the crowd that she was fully focused on her performance. 11. Due to the recent deportation measures, the number of illegal immigrants dwindled. 12. Hitler, the dictator, made plans for conquest of the world. 13. We determined the presentation order by drawing lots. 14. She has an extroverted and cheerful personality. 15. I woke up from a horrible nightmare in the middle of my sleep. 16. She emphasized important words with an underscore. 17. The soaring oil prices became a hindrance to economic recovery. 18. The person who bought the house paid a penalty for the cancellation of the contract. 19. Astronomy studies the creation and destruction of cosmic phenomena. 20. I photocopied documents for the thesis review. Feel free to ask if you'd like to go over any of them. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. The players rowed the canoe with their oars in sync with the chant. 2. The mechanic applied grease to the bicycle chain. 3. Relief supplies were delivered to the evacuees in the shelter. 4. Things were hard to find in the somber basement. Phi used every imaginable method to persuade him. 6. He bought real estate such as land or apartments. 7. Meals help remove awkwardness and build intimacy. 8. I feel no sympathy for criminals. 9. Instead of blindly criticizing, she made a logical argument. 10. The principal slightly relaxed the strict discipline rules. 11. A weak electrical stimulus reduces pain. 12. The wealth gap can constitute a social problem. 13. He recalled the agonizing training after winning. 14. She stood in line behind a long queue to buy a ticket. 15. The timber cabin is very vulnerable to fire. 16. I covered my nose because of the foul smell from the sewer. 17. The stingy grandfather was stingy about donations. 18. The committee disqualified the player for drug abuse. 19. He contracted a contagious disease from someone else. 20. She was my lifelong friend and mentor. Let me know if you'd like to discuss any of these. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. We hired a new employee to fill the vacancy in the HR department. 2. He finally defeated his lifelong opponent. 3. Environmental pollution is destroying the ecosystem of birds. 4. The police detained the drunk driver in the holding cell. 5. Christianity inhibits smoking and drinking for the faithful. 6. The police were alarmed by the consecution of recent violent crimes. 7. Iran and Iraq signed a peace treaty immediately. 8. The witness described the criminal's appearance accurately. 9. His decision to cancel the contract was a sensible judgment. 10. The village festival is held locally and nationwide. 11. On the subway, she reclined on his shoulder. 12. He was a math genius who could calculate calculus at the age of 10. 13. Electricity flows well through wires made of copper. 14. There was no viable escape route while trapped in prison. 15. The scammer seduced the young man into gambling. 16. He expanded his private company into an incorporated one. 17. The patient in a daze gazed out the window at the rain. 18. The Roman emperor made the gladiators fight lions in the arena. 19. He was initially pessimistic about business, but later turned optimistic. 20. Racial discrimination is a major issue in the multi-ethnic country of the United States. Feel free to ask if you'd like to explore any of them further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. The committee is comprised of representatives from each department. 2. The plane gradually began its descent to land. 3. The court ordered to release the classified information. 4. The child felt a strong fascination with Lego assembly. 5. Handle fragile items, like pottery, with care. 6. I blocked the penetration of light in the darkroom with aluminum foil. 7. The math prodigy easily solved the third-degree equation. 8. The drug addict went to prison several times due to drugs. 9. Samsung Semiconductor increased its factory investment. 10. I sprayed insecticide on the grass to get rid of pests. 11. His tardiness completely spoiled our trip. 12. She whispered softly, but it was audible to my ear. 13. My son kept pestering me for an allowance. 14. Air contamination is severe due to garbage incineration. 15. The building was constructed by conforming to the facility rules. 16. The students protested against the repressive regime. 17. The desolate desert of the Sahara had only sand. 18. The dictator dismissed the people's request for voting rights. 19. The smuggled goods were immediately forfeited at the airport. 20. The religious community demanded the abolition of the death penalty from the government. If you'd like to discuss any of these further, feel free to let me know. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. I have never committed a sin like stealing things. 2. The really daring prisoner escaped through the checkpoint. 3. He bought an exquisite metal craft as a souvenir. 4. I dehydrated roses for the flower decoration. 5. The nanny was very affectionate with the kindergarten children. 6. I noticed the scammer's clever deception. 7. The clerk packed the cheese chunk in a plastic bag and sold it. 8. He was shocked to see the price of the clothes on the tag. 9. She hurriedly wrote the meeting location on a piece of scrap paper. 10. He contracted an incurable disease, terminal lung cancer. 11. The company meeting was canceled due to the scanty attendance. 12. The government tried to eliminate bureaucracy and red tape. 13. The student asked the math instructor an insightful question. 14. She pondered her career path after graduating from college. 15. In a hierarchical society, social mobility was impossible. 16. Hunting was banned for preservation of wildlife. 17. He raised his hand and asked a question without any hesitation. 18. The salesperson earned the customer's absolute credibility. 19. He worked in a subdued mood after the trip was canceled. 20. Are you implying that he is a scammer right now? Let me know if you need further help with these sentences. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. He wasted money on purchasing extravagance. 2. The nobility rebelled against the imperial authority. 3. The pulse of the severe heart disease patient was too feeble. 4. I commute to work by subway to a company in the suburbs. 5. He gave generous patronage to the charity. 6. She always had to be careful of overeating due to her metabolic disorder. 7. My sweater is made with threads of various colors, which are interwoven. 8. The analyst's prediction of Apple's stock price was very accurate. 9. The possibility of recovery for the critical patient was very slim. 10. Pope Paul VI appointed cardinals and bishops. 11. The volcanic eruption triggered seismic activity on the seafloor. 12. She turned off the lights and darkened the room for the prayer meeting. 13. I spent a hectic week last week because of a business trip. 14. The suicide bomber attacked the cathedral in the city center. 15. The assassin stabbed the victim's abdomen with a dagger. 16. This year, we suffered enormous losses due to the drought. 17. She is a loyal subscriber to our magazine. 18. This microscope can magnify an object up to 100 times. 19. She adapted well to living abroad, which was unfamiliar. 20. An extrovert easily gets along with people they meet for the first time. Feel free to ask if you'd like to dive deeper into any of these. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. The Advertising Association regulated indirect advertising on television. 2. The blacksmith made an axe out of iron in the forge. 3. I made a resolution to quit smoking this year. 4. The school notified the successful candidates by text message. 5. He sprayed deodorant due to the terrible odor of his clothes. 6. I was dumbfounded by his absurd response for a while. 7. The new cancer treatment selectively kills only cancer cells. 8. The clown completely changed the mood of the depressed crowd. 9. I transact goods through an online shopping mall. 10. I was annoyed by the reporter's persistent questions. 11. The pastor preached to the heathens on the street. 12. The view from the mountaintop was spectacular. 13. Monkeys, gorillas, and humans are all anthropoid. 14. The CEO suggested a corporate name change. 15. Half of the members of parliament expressed their opposition to this law. 16. A consensus was reached among the meeting participants. 17. She went on a business trip to the U.S. with a pressing engagement. 18. I was praised by the teacher for being a conscientious student. 19. The skilled technician fixed the broken computer. 20. The government awarded medals for the soldiers' valor and sacrifice. Let me know if you'd like to go over any of them in more detail. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. The biologist knows both aquatic and terrestrial creatures well. 2. As he got older, he relied on an oral device for help when listening. 3. The actor's handsome face was reflected in the mirror. 4. The world issued a denunciation against the terrorists. 5. The young CEO is a direct descendant of the company's founder. 6. The refugee camp set up by the government was filled with evacuees. 7. Human life is fleeting, but death is eternal. 8. The farmer nourished the apple tree to help it grow well. 9. We decided to postpone the meeting until tomorrow. 10. The army held the prisoners in detention until the trial. 11. I made an unintentional mistake by stepping on his foot hard. 12. People envied my splendid outfit. 13. Saudi Arabia was prosperous due to oil exports. 14. The little boy grudgingly admitted his mistake to his mom. 15. A sly con artist deceived innocent people. 16. The landlord signed a 2-year lease agreement with the tenant. 17. I focused on prayer to purge my bad thoughts. 18. Our house's wallpaper has a linear design, not flowers. 19. The magazine publishes a periodical at the beginning of each month. 20. This class demonstrated high academic achievement. Let me know if you'd like to discuss or explore any of them. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. He was so obstinate that he only insisted on his own opinion. 2. This colorful mushroom was inedible because it was poisonous. 3. Ecologists have always advocated the importance of environmental protection. 4. The actor had a muscular masculine charm. 5. Nowadays, furniture's durability is so good that it lasts a long time. 6. The small boat capsized after being swept by the river's rapids. 7. I spent a delightful time with my friend at the ball. 8. He played the violin as a member of the quartet. 9. Our eyes quickly became adaptive in the dark. 10. This year, applicants for the Artificial Intelligence Department were swarming. 11. We stopped the business after a reciprocal agreement. 12. He is fettered by the customs of religion and has no freedom of action. 13. The patient was bedridden after injuring his spine in the accident. 14. I still can't forget the awful fear of the earthquake. 15. He learned arithmetic and Korean in elementary school. 16. The industrious assistant was promoted to manager. 17. Salmon spawned by returning to the river where they were born in the fall. 18. Measles spread rapidly to the neighboring village. 19. If a blood vessel is blocked, a heart attack occurs. 20. The psychiatrist counseled the mentally ill patients in the ward. Let me know if you'd like to dive deeper into any of these. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. The latest AI speaker has excellent voice recognition. 2. The examiner checked the fabric flakes from the crime scene. 3. When I greeted him, he gave a puzzled expression. 4. The task force regulated the parking next to the fire hydrant. 5. We watched the election results with apprehension. 6. His lyric poetry contains many figurative expressions. 7. Elephant hunting is an immoral and unethical act. 8. We traveled to a faraway uninhabited island. 9. The agenda for this meeting included unemployment issues. 10. The government prohibited selling alcohol to minors. 11. The salesperson's skilled explanation was persuasive. 12. I felt constrained to tell the truth. 13. He lived in isolation on a deserted island. 14. The drunk man staggered dangerously on the road. 15. The new employee received a cordial welcome from the company's staff. 16. He disclosed the hidden past of the opponent. 17. I calculated the necessary approximate amount of money for getting married. 18. The dictator requested political exile after stepping down. 19. The company considered giving bonuses to raise the employees' morale. 20. The judge created a shortlist for the literary award. Let me know if you'd like to discuss any of them further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. The designer induced the client to sign the insurance contract. 2. It might have been the placebo effect, but I got sick after taking the vitamin. 3. She dozed off on the bus and missed her destination. 4. Conan is a detective with great powers of reasoning. 5. The manager was discharged from his position due to bribery charges. 6. The first letter of every sentence must be capitalized. 7. This academy's quality of education has been vastly improved recently. 8. Irresponsible deforestation has reduced animal habitats. 9. He is known for his eccentricity, which harms his reputation. 10. I was utterly indifferent to my son's schoolwork. 11. The airline strike coincided with our trip. 12. I became maddened when I realized that I had been deceived by him. 13. He adjusted the microscope's focus on the specimen. 14. The singer, in particular, received overwhelming support from the public. 15. We brought radiation detection equipment to Japan. 16. She was so angry that she tried to slap his cheek. 17. The comparison of the two vacuum cleaners wasn't easy. 18. His idea was feasible even with current technology. 19. Mangoes are delicious fruits that grow in tropical climates. 20. She is a designer working for an architectural firm. Let me know if you need any clarification or further discussion. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. In mathematics, there are subset, intersection, and union in sets. 2. The human heart functions like a pump and is analogous to one. 3. The elementary students took a dictation test during their Korean class. 4. Oxygen and hydrogen combine chemically to form water. 5. The scientist had extensive expertise in physics. The nutritionist provided the patient with nutritious food. 7. The humanities professor discoursed on Greek mythology. 8. He read poetry while listening to bland music. 9. Modern people find consolation and hope in religion. 10. The public sports arena hosted basketball and volleyball games. 11. He was willing to accept my offer to help. 12. His chiseled face made his cheekbones appear prominent. 13. She is in a state of despair due to continuous misfortune. 14. His actions were in conflict with his words. 15. He eliminated the opponent through a conspiracy. 16. He is kind and forgiving toward strangers. 17. He threw a stone into the tranquil lake, creating ripples. 18. He is a veritable hero who saved the country from the enemy. 19. The peasant farmed rice by renting land from the Lord. 20. I recorded my desert exploration as a fun pictorial journal. Let me know if you'd like to discuss or explore any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. I made every endeavor to persuade him. 2. I fought with my husband over the issue of political affiliation. 3. The spy decoded the email written in code. 4. The crafty wolf deceived the innocent country girl. 5. What is the prevailing fashion in Korea these days? 6. The baseball player received autographs from pitcher Park Chan-ho. 7. The professor quoted Plato's philosophy in his lecture. 8. I vacated the room for the next tenant. 9. The horror movie enthralled the audience throughout the entire screening. 10. The country was completely impoverished by the war. 11. The judge convicted the murderer of first-degree murder. 12. Persistence in not giving up is the key to success. 13. I was imprudent enough to trust the scammer. 14. His brave deed saved us from danger. 15. The soldier broke through the siege and delivered the message to the army headquarters. 16. The investor had a foresight for investing in new technologies. 17. I reclaimed wasteland with a plow and oxen. 18. He felt mortality from the thin air in the spacecraft. 19. She enjoyed the ascent and descent of the seesaw. 20. The surgeon perfectly operated on my broken leg. Feel free to ask if you'd like to discuss any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. He converted the unused basement into a study. 2. The seal and crown are emblematic of royal power. 3. Her job is as an English simultaneous interpreter. 4. It was a regrettable event that you didn't attend the party. 5. After a long discussion, we reached consonance in our opinions. 6. My parents were in denial about my marriage. 7. The person betrayed was turning red with immense fury. 8. The thief, a model prisoner, was released on parole for a holiday. Number 9. The X-Men are mutant superheroes. 10. The expired documents were permanently discarded. 11. Betty was praised for being a hardworking student. 12. The village commission inspected their area for safety. 13. He was dismal because his close friend moved away yesterday. 14. I lived a life of seclusion in a mountain with no one around. 15. The apartment has a harmonious design with its surroundings. 16. I stumbled and fell over a computer cable. 17. Back then, students were commandeered for the war. 18. The car has a complicated structure. 19. The driver's sleep deprivation led to the accident. 20. The CEO gave an incentive speech to the employees at the meeting. Let me know if you'd like to explore or discuss any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. I earned roughly 5 million won from business this month. 2. The political analyst analyzed the positions of both the ruling and opposition parties. 3. The English dictionary is small and very handy to carry around. 4. I prepared a PPT to explain effectively. 5. He is still dependent on his parents for living expenses. 6. Community cohesion is even more important when it's difficult. 7. The singer impressed the audience with his great song. 8. Bears and snakes enter a dormant state during the winter. 9. The author briefly explained the gist of the book in the lecture. 10. The weather is variable during the rainy season, so an umbrella is essential. 11. The magazine's deadline was this Friday. 12. She worked hard to get into a prestigious university. 13. The journalist asked the spokesperson an abrupt question. 14. Many animals froze to death due to the extreme cold. 15. The British troops defeated the German tank division. 16. I can exercise my right to vote now that I have reached adulthood. 17. The IT industry is about the integration of information and technology. 18. Psychology is the study of the human mind. 19. The seller and buyer each signed the contract. 20. The legislator proposed a law for the admission system. Let me know if you'd like to dive into any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. The criminal was convicted due to the witness's testimony. 2. Children who are naughty are not welcomed by adults. 3. She parked her motorcycle alongside my car. 4. I want to build and live in a rustic house in the countryside. 5. When I speak, muscles and neurons work together. 6. I gave a candid opinion about her painting. 7. The prosecutor submitted an indictment against him for fraud. 8. Greed for money and power is part of human essence. 9. The multinational pharmaceutical company supported genetics research. 10. The charter was created by national leaders working together. 11. I haven't been able to sleep for a few days due to sleeplessness. 12. She stored the clothes she didn't wear in the warehouse. 13. My heart throbbed with joy from winning. 14. A confession obtained under compulsion was ruled invalid. 15. The nurse sterilized the surgical tools. 16. The Olympic Committee notified the members of the host city. 17. There are many videos on YouTube about the commentary of games. 18. The mole dug holes all over the garden. 19. I emigrated to Canada with my family when I was young. 20. Are you acquainted with the African language? Let me know if you'd like to discuss any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. We raised livestock such as chickens and pigs on the farm. 2. He is a cynic who looks negatively at celebrities' donations. 3. In the war, brutal deaths occurred frequently. 4. Her movements while dancing the waltz were flawless. 5. The viewers were upset due to the disruption in the soccer broadcast. 6. They lived in a crude house made of wood and grass. 7. She delicately decorated her younger brother's birthday cake. 8. I tried to refrain from indiscriminate consumption. 9. Her boyfriend has exceedingly good manners. 10. The interviewer tried to evaluate the candidate objectively. 11. The assessment result of the old building was immediate demolition. 12. He felt resentment at the unfair conduct of the game. 13. The conceptual types of cars include small, medium, and large sizes. 14. The FBI selected professional agents for the operation. 15. The house where my son won the competition had a festive atmosphere. 6:16. I developed psychosis due to severe stress. 17. He became known as a considerate senior to his juniors. 18. To us, pigeons are seen as an emblem of peace. 19. I have a particular soccer team that I genuinely support. 20. The bomb inflicted severe damage on the city. Let me know if you'd like to explore or discuss any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. Journalists should write unbiased articles. 2. Water's molecule is made up of oxygen and hydrogen atoms. 3. He mixed up the numbers to rearrange the presentation order. 4. The green light of the traffic signal means go, which denotes moving forward. 5. Obesity has a strong correlation with various adult diseases. 6. The mouth and stomach contain many enzymes necessary for digestion. 7. Bake the cake at 150 degrees Fahrenheit, not Celsius. 8. The reporter disseminated false information to the public. 9. Segregating white and black people was prohibited. 10. Sungyemun and Sokguram are tangible cultural heritage sites. 11. There was no sufficient evidence to detain the criminal. 12. Plants purify the air through photosynthesis during the day. 13. I scattered salt and pepper on the steak. 14. The British Army outnumbered the natives by a large margin. 15. Hitler ruled Germany by creating a dictatorship. 16. The shop signs fell due to the swirling gust of wind. 17. The second semester of English class will commence in August. 18. His rude attitude disappointed the teacher. 19. Her ceaseless studying resulted in success. 20. Salt can be considered a natural preservative. Let me know if you'd like to discuss or analyze any of them. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. The newspaper wrote an analysis article about approval ratings. 2. A capitalist society is based on consumerism. 3. Patients with mental illness often have delusions of persecution. 4. Authorization is required to enter this building. 5. In the past, Pluto was the 9th planet in the solar system. 6. He has an indescribable talent for playing the piano. 7. The company had $1 million in smuggled money forfeited. 8. Excessive smoking causes health problems such as lung cancer. 9. The wrestler choked his opponent into unconsciousness. 10. To ensure simplicity in management, we standardized the suppliers. 11. I checked the expiration date before buying the milk. 12. Dogs are domesticated animals that live with humans. 13. The highway was too congested during the holiday, so we took the bypass. 14. Greece has archaeological ruins everywhere. 15. We must take responsibility for the consequences of our actions. 16. My 7-year-old nephew is really playful and cute. 17. The king needs a forthright minister who speaks the truth. 18. He claimed there was no connection between the bomb attack and involvement. 19. He is an egocentric person who only thinks about himself. 20. The terrorist menaced an attack on Incheon Airport. Feel free to reach out if you'd like to discuss any of them further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. He drove as a subsidiary job apart from his main occupation. 2. She snoozed at her desk during class time. 3. The wicked witch cast a spell on Thumbelina. 4. Artificial intelligence, like AlphaGo, is an emerging industry. 5. He has no recollection of the past due to After Effects. 6. He worked as a correspondent for a broadcasting company in the US. 7. You should always wash your hands for personal hygiene. 8. Even twins have subtle differences when you look closely. 9. The Ministry of Education announced a sweeping change to the admission system. 10. He became angry and the inflection in his voice increased. 11. The librarian asked to return the overdue book. 12. He lived a life of degradation due to drugs and alcohol. 13. Healthcare deserves all the emphasis it can get. 14. The lawyer used jargon that was hard for ordinary people to understand. 15. The ship was laden with fruits and vegetables. 16. Taste in music and art is subjective. 17. The bus applies a fair discount for adolescents. 18. My younger brother is my only sibling. 19. Galileo, who supported the heliocentric theory, disproved the geocentric theory. 20. There were various native tribes in Africa. Let me know if you'd like to explore or analyze any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. Subsequently, he succeeded in losing 10 kilograms through exercise. 2. Please write a brief self-introduction on the application form. 3. He alleged that the fire was not his fault. 4. It's surprising that a car made 50 years ago is still operative. 5. At school, bully got in trouble for bullying his friends. 6. The civic group demanded the release of data from the government. 7. His good deeds were worthy of praise. 8. Daily chores like washing dishes and cleaning are very tiresome. 9. We checked the itinerary for our trip to Hawaii. 10. Our house is too cramped, so we can't put a big sofa. 11. He proved his argument with past statistics. 12. Standing up suddenly after sitting for a while can cause dizziness. 13. The magician conjured a dove out of his hat. 14. The hacker accessed the bank's computer server. 15. The priest found it hard to resist the temporal temptations. 16. She prefers a solitary trip over a group one. 17. Hansel navigated through the forest while watching the stones. 18. If the pillowcase gets dirty, uncover it for washing. 19. My mom disapproved after seeing my math grades. 20. Parents feel impotent when their child cries due to illness. Feel free to let me know if you need further clarification or would like to discuss any of these. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. God absolved them of the worldly sins they committed. 2. He is a teacher who is truly devoted to his students. 3. I accepted his constructive suggestion. 4. I let the dough ferment for a day to make pizza. 5. After studying for an hour, I took a 10-minute relaxation break. 6. He highly recommended that I watch that sci-fi movie. 7. The king will never relinquish his power. 8. I put the business plan in a briefcase and handed it over. 9. The court tried to arbitrate the dispute between the two companies. 10. This English word is hard for foreigners to pronounce. 11. Jesus warned against adoration of idols. 12. I learned binary calculations after studying decimal. 13. We can't afford to buy a new car. 14. He works in the company's administration department. 15. We lay in ambush in the canyon and waited for the enemy. 16. The elderly man had to get dentures after losing his teeth due to cavities. 17. We managed to hold the event with an insufficient budget. 18. College students are currently on vacation, so they are not coming to school. 19. He slammed the door furiously after hearing the news of his dismissal. 20. The sewer is clogged with trash, so the sewage doesn't drain properly. Let me know if you'd like to dive deeper into any of them. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. He promised in writing and verbally that he supports me. 2. We made unforgettable memories on our trip. 3. The teacher recommended an educational book to the student. 4. The newspaper distributed a questionnaire to gather opinions. 5. He shuffled to the window as he had difficulty walking. 6. He always grumbled about his poor situation. 7. The landlord prepared an ample meal for the guests. 8. She became angry and flushed after hearing his insults. 9. People with hypertension should be cautious about salt intake. 10. English proficiency requires effort and a lot of time. 11. Hence, you must wear a helmet for safety. 12. It is necessary to isolate the person with mental illness. 13. The wreck was discovered deep under the Pacific Ocean. 14. The leather company made briefcases from glossy leather. 15. His mistake can never be justified through rationalization. 16. She lived alone in an abandoned house because she was poor. 17. The World Cup's hosting boosted Korea's status. 18. He dismisses other countries with an insular worldview. 19. The economics lecture gave me many benefits. 20. Severe nausea can occur in the early stages of pregnancy. Let me know if you'd like to explore any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. Severe stress can weaken the immune system. 2. As the end of the world approached, morality declined. 3. When speaking, be mindful of the listener's feelings as well. 4. He showed a cynical reaction after hearing my plan. 5. The mouse that woke the sleeping lion quivered in fear. 6. A new sheriff has been appointed to our town. 7. It is not rational to legitimize violence. 8. The evil witch enchanted her into a sleeping princess. 9. The father admonished his son for lying. 10. After the event, people surged toward the exit. 11. Queen Elizabeth reigned over England for 45 years. 12. The president worked to generate new jobs. 13. His name was lost to oblivion in people's memories. 14. She acceded to my request to study together. 15. The survivors gave a vivid description of the fire scene. 16. There was an age limitation for applying to the company. 17. He is famous worldwide as a diamond connoisseur. 18. Red is a symbolic color of passion and fervor. 19. Snakes and bears undergo hibernation during the winter. 20. The young man has an obligation to protect his country. Let me know if you'd like to discuss any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. Her waltz performance astounded me. 2. I donated to the facility to help needy children. 3. European countries established an economic federation. 4. The speaker mediated between the opposition and the ruling party members. 5. The area was reduced to ruins due to bombing. 6. In the fall, a locust swarm ate all the crops. 7. When making bread, yeast is added to make the dough rise. 8. She is a seeker who always pursues the truth. 9. The witness requested police custody until the court session. 10. The servants of the castle were obedient to the Lord. 11. His complaints were underlying money issues. 12. Stocks should be assessed with awareness of investment risks. 13. The pastor prayed at the altar in the chapel. 14. A lot of heat in the scalp can lead to hair loss. 15. I drank plenty of water to avoid dehydration. 16. I studied the formation process of the sun and earth. 17. I really regret my hasty decision at that time. 18. Wind and solar are renewable energy resources. 19. The journalist wrote an article about the education system reform. 20. Expanding healthcare insurance is of great desirability as a policy. Let me know if you'd like to discuss any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. He enjoys occasional hikes with his friend. 2. I couldn't submit the assignment that the teacher gave. 3. She was a coward who was afraid to even touch a puppy. 4. The FBI failed in the mission due to inaccurate information. 5. This abstraction is an authentic painting by Picasso. 6. The U.S. military sent reinforcement troops to the battlefield. 7. I was disappointed by your stupidity for believing the scammer's words. 8. He professed his innocence to the police officer. 9. The Jindo dog is known as a loyal dog to its owner. 10. I became a marine biologist studying whales. 11. She ripped the copy paper lengthwise. 12. The archer drew his bow and released an arrow toward the target. 13. The monster was finally driven into the dark abyss. 14. She went to study abroad in America to broaden her horizons. 15. The Eskimos used sledges pulled by dogs. 16. We live in a humane society where we help each other. 17. The pilot asked to turn off the electronic devices. 18. She refused my goodwill to help. 19. Smoke containing toxins was released into the sky from the factory. 20. He completed the project entirely by himself. Feel free to let me know if you'd like to discuss or explore any of these further. Here are the sentences you provided. 1. I dampened the sponge in water to clean the window. 2. The scammer tried to defraud me of my money. 3. His kindness in helping others was reciprocated. 4. Astrology believes that stars and life are interconnected. 5. The new CEO revitalized the company's sales. 6. A commemoration event was held yesterday to celebrate the victory. 7. The company restricted its expenditures due to losses. 8. Subordinates should be respectful to superiors. 9. He made a commitment to pay back his debt by next year. 10. She is so frenetic that she can't focus properly on her work. 11. Mother Teresa was venerated by people all over the world. 12. The competition between the two players has now become inevitable. 13. Many cows and sheep were being raised on the ranch. 14. This vegetable is tolerant to the cold and is grown in the winter. 15. Control devices were installed to prevent oil spillage. 16. The interviewer's unexpected question bewildered me. 17. Apparently, they are going to divorce soon. 18. You need a rational reason if you want to quit your job. 19. Her fashion show lacked originality. 20. She participated in the excavation of the ancient ruins. Let me know if you want to discuss or explore any of these further.